What is going on, YouTube? Sticky back at it. We are taking a look today at the Cosmic Crucible updates that are going to be coming. As of the time of recording, it is April 29th. So we have one more week of Season 2 Cosmic Crucible. That season's going to wrap up at the end of this coming week. We will have an off week during the week of the patch, which is May 10th. And then they'll come back in with the Ultimate 32-man tournament, which I'm excited for. And then the week after that, as far as I can tell, is the beginning of Season 3. So I went over this a little bit on stream today. I was joined by Pathfinder Gaming as well as Juicy. I'll have links to both their Twitch channels and YouTubes and everything in the description below, so you guys can take a look. So I was reading the patch today, didn't catch it yesterday. I was kind of digesting things live with them, getting some of their input and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I have to say, very, very disappointed. I was hoping to make a, if we're going to make a video like this, we could be talking about all the cool room buffs that were going on and all the possibilities and things to think about. And man, I knew going into this ahead of time that some people were disappointed about the blog. I didn't know the details of it, just the people weren't that excited. And I have to say, I walked away looking at Season 3 even more disappointed than I was expecting. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's my favorite game mode. I'm going to keep playing and all that and keep doing the stuff, because I love it. But man, I was really hoping for more than this. But let's go take a look here. We'll just go do a quick overview. What we're not going to do, we're going to break down a little bit about what's going on with the global rooms, the individual stage bonuses, and things like that. And just things to think about. What I'm not going to do here is make any recommendations on specific teams to place on defense or anything like that, because I haven't really don't really have my thoughts straight on it yet. I have some basic ideas, some interesting teams maybe to think about there, counters for teams that you might see in defensive placements for these stages. So we'll certainly make mention of those, but not going to make recommendations on anything yet, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I don't want to tell you what to do if I don't even know what I'm going to do. So taking a look, first up is the Ultimate 32 stage tournament. I'm actually super excited for this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And lend itself to a little bit of theory crafting and a little bit different change of pace. I think it's 5 days of Cosmic Crucible as opposed to 3, which is awesome because I love this game mode generally, even when I'm disappointed. Excuse me. So starting off, we have a global rule buff, debuff, I guess, buff. Yeah, global rule defensive buff. Plus 20% health and plus 10% damage for defensive teams. So nothing too exciting there. Defensive teams are just going to be a little bit stronger than their offensive counterparts, so that's fine. Room 1, when it rains. So this is essentially the Scourge buff, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, on defense and offense. And that's something to call out too. I believe every single one of these is both offense and defense effects within the room. So that's super interesting. I do like that quite a bit. You need to consider going into this what effect it's both going to have on the enemy team and on the team that you plan to bring into there. And I think that adds an interesting twist to it. It's not just all defensive stuff. So I do like that. So room 1, or stage 1, when it rains on defense and offense, when a positive effect is applied to a character, increase the duration of all positive effects on allies of that character by 1 up to a maximum of 3. When a negative effect is applied to a character, increase the duration of all negative effects on all allies of that character up to a maximum of 3. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. Off the bat, I was thinking, I was talking again, Juicy and Pathfinder Gaming. Off the bat, kind of the first thing that came to me was, hey, maybe an Infinity Watch. That could be interesting. They spawn with Safeguard, Defense Up, Immunity. You immediately open up with the Evades from Nebula. She's a very fast character. So there could be some use there. I think there's probably some other interesting options here. But this one's cool. I got no problem with this. Interesting room. Again, just kind of a recycle of what we know from the Scourges. But interesting enough. So I'll take it. Kind of initial thoughts there. I like Infinity Watch on defense. They're a sync for efficiency. And they're going to draw in, you need a pretty solid response to Infinity Watch. And they often drain the efficiency on the attacks of the characters. So I don't tend to use them on offense any longer. So they could be of use here. We'll see. Stage 2, portable shield device. Yeah, bummer. This is exactly what we have in Stage 3 right now in current season. Season 2. On defense and offense, fortifier characters, when they use an ultimate ability, it spreads all positive effects to adjacent allies. This is kind of a wash for me. Even in the current season, I found myself going into the current season, I figured there'd be more interesting stuff happening in this room than ultimately, happened. So I've kind of always just treated this like another room and haven't really built anything around, fortifier characters per se. I mean, you can do some stuff YA in there, or, people brought in Underworld with Zemo and Red Skull, and Zemo can spread stuff because he ultimates immediately and things like that. But this I just kind of treat like a blank room, honestly. Nothing too exciting here, and kind of disappointed to see this is just a recycle of the current season. Stage 3, Web of Destiny. On defense and offense, Web Warrior characters count as Tangled Web. I have been running my Tangled Web on offense for this past season, and that has never changed, and I see no situation in which I'm going to be putting them on defense, especially with this. Web Warrior characters are bad characters, even if they do count as Tangled Web. I mean, unless you really want to have Tangled Web on defense and you have nothing else available to you to put that are better characters with Tangled Web than Web Warriors, I guess this is a choice you can make. I'm certainly not going to do it. I see no reason why you would use Web Warriors. They are not good, and they just really drag down Tangled Web, the actual Tangled Web members. So this one, because I don't plan on using them on defense, Tangled Web, it's just kind of a non-event for me. This means nothing to me. I'm going to pretend like this has no bonus to it at all. Room 4, Strength in Numbers. On defense and offense, every consecutive summon character of the same summon character on either side of the field adds 20% more max health to each future summon of that summon character. This is interesting. I will say there's some obvious things going into this. Like, I, for one, if someone tries to get tricky on this room, I'm probably going to have Kestrel on offense, right? She shuts down the summons as long as she has charged and hasn't, used her passive by the end of her turn. She'll continue to have charge and continue to shut down summoning characters. Also, Death Seed. I mean, Death Seed minions tend to not be that strong. You can easily get ahead of them, even with them adding 20% max health for additional summon characters. Keep in mind that they need to be the same summon character. So someone that brings in different kinds of summons, those are all treated as individual characters. So someone like a multiple man, Pathfinder, I believe you said Benny Westside mentioned it to him at some point. Multiple man, all his dupes are the same character, right? They're the same kind of character. So each subsequent one is going to get the additional 20% max health. That could be interesting for maybe super crazy built Kraken multiple mans. I don't know. I would still probably just Desi this or bring in a team with Kestrel, but that's something interesting. But then a character, a character like, I don't know, a Yondu or whatever that's going to summon different variations of a summon. You have to summon the same character over and over again in order for that character to get the buff. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't plan on doing anything around the summons here. To be totally honest, as it stands, I'm just going to kind of treat this as another room, and I am likely to have a team like Death Seed or a character like Kestrel on offense to kind of help me shut this down. I don't think this is going to do enough, even with a massively built multiple man. I mean, maybe something interesting could happen here. Turn it into an efficiency sink, but I would never recommend anyone build up multiple man for that. And also, I don't think it stops someone like Kestrel from doing what she needs to do. So this is also, I hate to say it, also a kind of a dud for me, but it is what it is. Stage 5 is Health Insurance. On defense and offense. On turn, characters remove all positive effects from self and heal for 10% of max health for each positive effect removed. This is kind of a double-sided thing here. A lot of teams that get positive effects, you are, at least on offense, you are better served by having the positive effects on them than you are by healing from those positive effects. So, someone like a team like Eternals or Wakanda that tend to get a lot of positive effects. There's very few situations in which I can think, I would really I wish I could get rid of these positive effects so they got some health back. You know what I mean? So this actually can be a hindrance to you in a lot of ways. I will say that with teams that spawn with Safeguard, assuming this works properly, you know, you can't lose buffs when buffs can't go away when you have Safeguard. So you might be able to find something interesting here involving teams that have Safeguard, because in theory they will heal based off the positive effects. Maybe it doesn't work. Who knows? I don't know how they coded this. I mean, maybe it doesn't because you didn't actually lose the positive effects. I don't even know if they'll actually heal. What I would think would happen is that the heal triggers for the positive effects on them, but they don't go away because they have Safeguard. But you might not heal at all. I have no idea. You may not heal at all because the effects didn't go away. I don't know. But yeah, that's something that we'll take a look at, and we'll see how that actually functions in game. I think probably the most interesting thing about this is because it affects both offense and defense, you have to consider when you're setting a defense in this room, about what teams are going to be used to traditionally counter that defense. And if them having their positive effects removed and turned into healing is actually going to cause an issue for them. So Juicy brought up an interesting point about Gamma, right? So you go into a Gamma, maybe you have, Eternals. Well, Cersei and Icarus spawn with a bunch of buffs, including offense up, and those are going to go away. So, if it occurs, I imagine it's going to occur at the beginning of the turn. Again, we don't know, kind of working with limited information, but there's a very real chance that Icarus goes to pop off that ultimate, and he doesn't have it because it got stripped at the beginning of his turn and turned into a heal that he didn't need. So that's something to consider. Doom, when he goes off, spawns a whole bunch of bots. A big part of that is the offense up he gets. I believe it's on that last summon before he specials and booms. He's not going to have offense up because presumably he would have healed and they would have disappeared. So think about that when you're placing defenses on here. What teams are they trying to usually going to bring in to counter that, and whether or not the fact that they're not going to have any positive effects on them when they take their turn is gonna hinder that counter. So yeah, I think maybe Gamma might be something interesting here. This, I think, is one of the more interesting rooms. I do like this. It makes you think a little bit. And then room 6, overcharged on defense and offense. Special abilities cost 3 more ability energy, and ultimate abilities cost 3 less ability energy. I think this is pretty interesting. So, characters like Cersei and Icarus are going to be able to ult pretty much every single turn, as far as I know. Icarus is going to be able to go immediately, cost 3 less ability energy. Cersei's going to be able to ult immediately, generate ability energy. You can kind of get a back and forth from that. Characters like Spider Weaver, she's going to be able to ultimate constantly, right? She takes damage, she gains ability energy and turn meter. Her ultimate has a lower cooldown on it based on this room. So I think that's super interesting. We'll see how this one plays out. And then you have to keep in mind who's going to be hindered by this. What characters really rely on their special to do a lot of, their kit lets them do, but they're not going to be able to do their special moves. That really hampers them. So characters like Apocalypse, Apocalypse is going to be able to ult first turn, but a big part of what Apocalypse does is that special to apply the ability block, but more importantly, heal and apply the safeguard and all that stuff. That special is a big part of his kit, so he's going to ult more frequently, but never be able to special. Is that worth it to you? I don't know. So this is actually a very interesting room. So of these, I am very excited for the 32-man tournament because it is something different. Of these rooms, though, the only ones that I'm actually excited about and interested in trying stuff out and setting interesting defenses are room 6, overcharged, room 5, health insurance, or stage 5 health insurance, and to a lesser extent, stage 4, but not really. I think this is kind of a wash. This seems like kind of a dud for me. I'm more excited about the 32-man tournament just based off the fact that it's something different, and we get to theorycraft a little bit, especially compared to what we're going to get here in a second in Season 3. We'll take a look at. But yeah, I'm excited to do the 32-man. Something different, and CC the last 5 days. I'll take it. Now, into Season 3. Man, this is disappointing. I don't know. Feelings here initially: lazy, boring, uninspired. I hope this is not the future of Cosmic Crucible because, man, the future is looking bleak. We can just go ahead and sum up the global rules as follows. It's the exact same global rules as we have in Season 2, except Gamma characters also have their max health, focus, resistance, and damage reduced by 10%. There you go. That's it. It's all the same, but also Gamma's worse. Fantastic. Let's move into the stages. Surely it has to get better from there, right? It does not. Stage 1. Once again, portable shield device. Great. We got that this season. We got that in the 32-man tournament, and we have that again here. Great. Like I said, echo the same sentiment as above. I treat this like any other room. It's not that interesting to me. It didn't end up having a big enough effect in the current season that I ever really used this to any significant extent. I was hoping it would be more impactful than it was. It wasn't. This is another room to me. Stage 2, Resurrection Protocol. Look familiar? Does this look familiar to you? If you're saying, hey, isn't that room 4 in season 2? You would be correct. It's room 4 in season 2. Well done, Scopely. Innovative. Thank you. Surely it gets better from here. Stage 3, Creeping Spiders. Anything look familiar to you? Oh, is it the exact same stage as stage 4 that we currently have in the current season? Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scopely. I'm so interested to try that out. Can't wait. Surely it gets better from there, right? Stage 4, Vibranium Tuning. That sounds familiar. Familiar. Oh, is this exactly the same as stage 6 that we currently... What are we doing here? What is happening? Like, was it you guys didn't have enough time? Did you didn't care enough to do this? You didn't bother thinking about interesting things to do with this game mode that's one of people's favorite game modes in Marvel Strike Force? We just didn't bother. We just didn't bother. Okay, so basically it's the exact same season as season 1, or excuse me, season 2. For the first 4 stages. Fantastic. Can't wait. I wasn't bored of what we were playing already. So that's great. Super excited for that. Can't wait. Stage 5, Building Momentum. This is a slightly dumbed down version. There's a little bit different to it, but slightly dumbed down version of, I think it was stage 6 in the 32-man tournament. Essentially, special abilities cost 2 more. Ultimate abilities cost 2 less. I think it was 3 more and 3 less in the 32-man tournament. And then in addition to that, and again, this is both on offense and defense, when an enemy character dies, all allied characters generate 1 ability energy. So same thing as above. You just need to pay attention to what characters have really strong ultimates that are going to be ultimating more frequently. Just keeping in mind that characters that really rely on their special are going to be hindered here. When an enemy character dies, all allied characters gain 1 ability energy. That could be interesting. They're going to be, using their ultimate enough anyway, but it'll let them use their special, I suppose, somewhere in there. It doesn't say that it's just non-summoned enemy characters, so I suppose, let's say there's an enemy Greg on the opponent's side. Presumably, if you kill him, I don't know why you would put Undying on defense, but presumably if you killed him or another summon, your whole team would get ability energy. It's kind of the way it reads to me. So yeah, just be wary going into this. But I think what happens in that 32-man tournament will, in a lot of ways, show us how we're going to use this room in Season 3, so this is at least somewhat interesting. And then room 6. Hope you have Rebirth. And not just I hope you have Rebirth, I hope you have a massive Rebirth. Room 6, Fated Reunion. On defense and offense, military characters. There's like 3 good military characters in the entire game, by the way. Military characters on turn, if at least 1 Rebirth character is an ally, gain barrier for 5% of this character's max health. Symbiote characters, basically Agent Venom, because every other symbiote character has been totally power crept. On hit, if at least 1 Rebirth character is an ally, apply bleed to that enemy character. Rebirth characters gain revive once at 40% health. This is the Rebirth room. We didn't sell, you guys haven't invested in Rebirth enough. We didn't sell enough Rebirth offers. Hope you have a giant Rebirth. And Juicy brought up a good point. Not just have Rebirth, but have it over-invested in Rebirth. I can tell you I've gone up against 1.5 million power level Rebirth teams in the current season, and yeah, they're a giant pain in the ass. So the massive Rebirth teams you can have a big issue with if you don't have an equally massive answer to them. That being said, there's a big difference between a 1.5, 1.6 million Rebirth team and one that's 900k or a million power level. The opportunities to counter a smaller Rebirth increase exponentially. And there's not enough happening in this room to stop those counters, as far as I know. I mean, the revive once, I guess, is a little annoying. I don't know. Juicy brought up a good point that he thought maybe, you might see some changes out for US Agent, swap him out for standalone characters that might help with some of the counters. We'll see how that ends up panning out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about this. This is just, we didn't sell enough Rebirth. You guys aren't investing in Rebirth. Build Rebirth bigger. I will tell you, I would be very, unless you have a massive Rebirth already, I would be very, very hesitant to recommend investing in Rebirth for this defensive room for this season. Because I think we're going to see counters, people getting creative about how they deal with this. That's, you know, we're going to be doing big punch-ups on this Rebirth team. Again, they can be scary at large investment level and all that. But yeah, I can never in good conscience recommend that somebody invest in a team like this just for one room in one season of Cosmic Crucible to get a little bit of an edge on defense. It just feels terrible. Don't overinvest in teams. Get these guys up to what they're going to do for you in raids and getting the job done, and just leave it there as far as I'm concerned. So that's it. What does this mean for the season, for the future of Cosmic Crucible? I don't know, but it doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well. We were getting regurgitated Season 3 rooms, totally uninspired, uninterested, copy and paste jobs. And then we're getting a room that's just like, hey, hope you have a giant Rebirth. Hope you ever invested in Rebirth. For someone who loves this game mode and is, you know, the thing I look forward to most when I play the game is doing Cosmic Crucible. This could not be more disappointing to me. I hope that this does not carry over into Season 4. We'll see. I don't know. 32-man tournament. I am looking forward to that just because it's something different. And I get to do it for 5 days, and that's super cool. But yeah, even the buffs here in these rooms aren't super inspiring to me. I don't know what to say. Didn't want to make this video, but here we are. I am not optimistic about the future of Cosmic Crucible. I don't know. We go from you know, a mid-season tournament, the 32-man tournament, where we have a little bit more options and we can have a little bit more fun and theory crafts. We get one of those and immediately they're just back to status quo. Hope you built these teams. Hope you built these pigeonholed teams. You know, so we get a taste of a little bit of fun, a little bit of theory crafting, and then we're right back into we're going to do exactly what Scopely says. We're not going to be successful in Cosmic Crucible. So that's all I have for you guys. Sorry it's not a more positive video, but yeah, just a bummer as I'm reading this. But appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you hated it. Let me know in the comments. I might totally be off base. You know, let me know what you guys think. Are you excited about this? I have a hard time believing most of you are. I think you guys probably agree that it's a boring, uninspired copy and paste job. But if you feel the same way, let me know. If you totally disagree and you're excited, let me know. Stay tuned to the channel as we get into the 32-man tournament, and then this Season 3. We'll be, you know, of course, setting defenses, engaging how well they're doing, and making adjustments on all that. So we're going to keep doing Cosmic Crucible content on this channel, as always. So, you know, look forward to that, at least. We'll make fun, even if Scopely makes it hard for us. So thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Link to everything in the description below. We'll see you in the next one. Stay sticky.